Chapter 10. Games, Diplomacy, and Bonds Forged. The noise of the crowd is deafening. Cheering, jeering, whistles, drums, the clash of steel. It's a cacophony of sound, but there's order to it, a rhythm to the chaos. And I love every second of it. I stand with my men, watching the fighters duke it out in the center of the courtyard. Our team has won the first 2 games, wrestling and sword fighting, and now we are about to face off against the orcs in archery. I see Finn, one of our best, take his place at the firing line. He's calm, focused. Beside him, Gruck, the orc captain, is equally still, his face impassive behind his helmet. This contest was the idea of Thorgath. We all thought he was mad, but the orc has a plan for everything. This competition, he says, will show us who among us are the best. And the best, he claimed, would get something very special, something that would help them even more. Then he had a wicked grin on his face and added, if they don't kill each other first. After 2 days of bloody battles, both sides are weary. There have been deaths, but not many. If this continues, Thorga might be right. Some of our best might not survive the rest of the competition. So far, we have won 3 games, the orcs, 2. Only one remains, the throwing contest. Each side will put up 4 of their strongest. The winner of this will be the overall champion. In the stands, I watch as the 4 men from my side throw their axes. The orcs will go next. The first 2 humans hit the target, but Grog, the dwarf, misses. Kelger, halfling rogue, steps up and hits the bull's eye. That means whoever from the orcs matches or beats Kelger's score wins the game. The orc steps up, throws, and misses. Next one steps up, throws, and hits the target, but not the bull's eye. The crowd cheers. The third orc looks grim, takes aim and throws. His axe buries itself deep in the wood just above Kelgar's score. I turn to Thorgath, surprised. Even he looks impressed. The 4th and last orc steps up, takes aim and throws. His axe strikes Kelgar's exactly in the center of the bull's eye. A hush falls over the crowd. The orc raises his arms in victory. Thorgath grins, as promised. He turns to the orc captain and calls out, Gruck, you have proven yourself the best among warriors today. Come forward. Gruck nods to me and the rest of my companions before leaving the courtyard. He comes back with a heavy wooden chest in his arms. It's locked, but Thorgith produces a key. Here, he says to Gruck, the prize for the best. The orc captain opens the chest and gasps. Inside is an enormous battle standard, bigger than a man, emblazoned with a snarling wolf's head. Truly the best will earn the fiercest prize, Thorgith says, grinning. A few minutes later, I find myself alone with Grug in the relative quiet of his tent. It's big enough to hold maybe 20 men, but only Gruck and I are inside. On one side is a crude table and chairs made from tree branches and bound animal skins. Opposite the door is a pile of furs for sleeping. To one side is a brazier filled with glowing embers. Opposite that is a rack of weapons, swords, axes, bows, quivers of arrows. In the middle of it all is Gruck. He sits on a chair, cleaning his axe with a small piece of cloth. He looks up as I enter, his face impassive, but I can hear the amusement in his voice when he speaks. So you wish to speak with Grug, little wolf? I sit down on one of the nearby tree stumps. It's about the games. You did well. We all did, Grug says, wiping his axe clean with the cloth. You were impressive. You almost beat me. Almost doesn't count, Grug says with a grunt. There were some good scores in the throwing contest. That was close. Gruck nods toward the brazier. Can I offer you meat? Thank you. That would be good. While Gruck prepares the meat, we eat in silence. As I do, I look around the tent. All these weapons must have been taken from the slain, the trophies of countless battles. What would it be like, I wonder, to fight alongside an orc? I know they're fierce fighters, disciplined, well organized, deadly in close quarters, masters of siegecraft. There's much we can learn from them, and I sense Gruck knows that. Finally, Gruck breaks the silence. My chieftain wants to talk with you. I know. I asked to meet with you first because there are things your chieftain should know. What are they? Things I heard from my scouts, from prisoners. Things that you may want to think about before going into any alliance talks. Gruck considers this. What are they? Well, first, I hear your war parties returning from raids with less and less booty. Your hunters must be bringing in less game. There are fewer animals in the forest than there once were. The forests are old and the animals breed fast. Gruk says. Not here, I say. They've gone. They've moved farther north where the forests are new and easier to hunt. Perhaps, Gruk says, unconvinced. And I hear that the humans are driving south. Many fled across the river, but many stayed behind to burn their villages rather than leave them to the orcs. That is their problem, Gruk says. Their fields are ours for the taking. Soon there will be no wolves to steal our kills. They will plant again come spring, and the harvest will grow. Unless, I say, you wipe out every last human in the territory, you will have to deal with them. Again, and again, and again. We will deal with them, Gruk says. Second thing, I hear that there are dwarves in the mountains. You have met with them, traded with them, fought with them. Yes, what do they say about the orcs? They speak highly of our strength and tenacity. But none will trade with us anymore. Why? Because we cannot keep to any bargain. We cheat, steal, and kill. Gruk stares into the flames. Even when we shake hands on a deal, by the time we finish trading, neither of us remembers what was said. Well, perhaps that is because the dwarves drink so much ale while they trade. Or, perhaps it is because you cheated them and they are done dealing with orcs. Gruk says nothing. There are others who won't deal with you either. Goblins, hobgoblins, giants, elves. Yes, even the elves. What do they say? They say you are a danger to all. No creature feels safe with orcs near. So when they have a choice, they prefer to deal with anyone else. Gruk stands up, grabs his axe and walks to the front of the tent, staring out into the night. We are strong, he says finally. Strong enough to smash any dwarf chain, any human wall, any elf spell. And yet none of those creatures are going extinct, I point out. Yet you are. Fewer and fewer orcs. Every year the clans get smaller. Gruk slowly turns back to me. We are orcs. We hate living under the same sky as other creatures. Are you saying we should beg for food and let others take what we want? I am saying you could learn something from the creatures you despise. Humans farm the land instead of burning it. Elves live in harmony with nature instead of killing every animal in the forest. Dwarves make deals and stick to them. Goblins hoard treasure, which just might come in handy when hard times come again. And the giants, well, they have a long memory, but they also know when they're outmatched and run away. Could you learn something from each of them? Perhaps you could have allies instead of enemies. Gruk doesn't reply. What else is there to say? For a long moment, we just stare at each other. Finally, Gruk sheaths his axe. Thank you, little wolf. Later, after talking with Thorgath, I return to my camp. The fighting is over, and tonight there is a celebration. There is a large fire in the center of the clearing, and around it are the men of my company and many orcs. We are drinking, eating, laughing, telling stories. It's almost like we are friends. One of the orcs stumbles over to me, holding a flagon of ale, for Gruk and the Green Horde. He yells, raising his drink, to Gruk and the Green Horde. I answer, clinking my tankard against his. I see Cat in the shadows watching me. She's leaning against a tree, arms crossed, expression unreadable. Did Gruk tell her what we talked about? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter. Tonight, we are celebrating. Then, as suddenly as it began, the merriment ends. The orcs and my men fall silent, staring at the ground, each thinking his own thoughts. After a moment, I break the silence. Tomorrow, we begin the alliance talks. Hopefully it goes well. Hopefully, says Torag, coming to stand beside me. But if it does, we may have a lot of explaining to do. It's not normal for orcs and humans to be on good terms, especially not after all the fighting we've done, I say, but sometimes it's better to have an uneasy peace with an orc than war with one. Torga nods slowly. Very wise, little wolf. The alliance talks continue for 5 days. There are moments of anger, but for the most part, we discuss strategy, tactics, even training together. We exchange prisoners and wounded. We agree to stop raiding each other, and we agree to share what little magic we have. On the 6th day, we sign the pact. It's a roll of parchment, sealed with the wolf head of my house and the snarling wolf of the Green Horde. Now we are allies, united against the growing darkness. But there are rumblings among my men. Some are uncomfortable with our new ally. The orcs, of course, feel the same. One evening, I find Tareg and Gruk by the river bank. On the opposite bank, a group of young orcs and men are playing a game. How does one become allies with an orc? Tareg asks gruffly. By playing childish games. Games, Gruk says, are how we settled many disputes in the old days. Sometimes there is more to be learned from a game than from a battle. Are you saying we should trust orcs? Are you saying we shouldn't trust orcs? I am saying, Gruck says, that even sworn enemies can find common ground, even in a game. Turog shakes his head. Some things never change. I smile. Well, then perhaps some things should remain the same. Turog shrugs. True enough. Here's to hoping that whatever happens, we don't find out the hard way. From the opposite bank, we hear laughter and shouts of joy, the noise of children playing, the tentative peace between humans and orcs, the shared joy of a simple game. It's a small thing, but in the grand scheme of things, perhaps one of the most important things that has happened.